chased validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Sander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And today is one of our members-only shows that's open up to the public. Today, we're going to be going over a few of our questions and comments from the fans that I've seen over the week. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you come into the show today. You also have the opportunity to chime in on the discussion. If you want to, you can come on the show live by clicking the link in the comment section below. If you approve the mic, approve the camera, it brings you onto the show in real time. And then you are able to be heard as well as speak in real time. Remember, it's an open mic, open forum, open discussion. So try to keep your comments positive. Also keep your comments positive in the comments section. We are live 7 nights a week, starting at 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and about 7 o'clock Pacific Time. And we are not going to change our time during the daylight savings time. So we're going to stay right around this time of day. For those of you that are watching us from other countries, special shout out to those of us that are being participating here from Twitch and or Twitter. YouTube is also the other one that we're utilizing because TikTok is still banned. So as that changes, we're going to give you guys updates on it. But for now, for the most part, we've got Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. So Make sure that you guys stay tuned, like and subscribe. We're going to go ahead and dive into this real quick because we got quite a few of them. So let's go ahead with the first comment of the day.
Does this mean goodbye forever? At 45, I met someone online for 1 month. We messaged each other every day. We did FaceTime 5 times and talked for 2 hours each time. Communication was so good. Honest, open, and understanding. He eventually said I reminded him of his ex. I then asked if he had unresolved feelings for her because it would be unhealthy to use me to fill a void. That made him think about things and he grew a bit distant. He told me it's not fair for him to have unresolved feelings for her and talk to me. Also not fair for him to try to talk to her while still talking to me. So he said he had to stop communication. This is what he sent me and then blocked me. Thanks for sharing quality time together. I believe everything I told you. For you and me is best if we don't talk at the moment since everything has been said. I learned a lot from you about myself. Thank you for everything. I wish you all the best. He is European, so I don't know if wishing all the best means goodbye forever. When we talked, he said it's goodbye for now. We will meet one day.
Yeah, that's it. I understand that women are not used to rejection and men are not used to doing the rejection. But I can tell you that the moment that he said that you reminded him of his ex, you're probably not from the same generation that I'm from, but I can tell you that when Usher said you remind me of a girl that I once knew, he finished that statement with, "This is why I cannot be with you." So knowing that, if you remind him of his ex and God forbid he's getting back with his ex after communicating with you, that situation is not going to go any further. But if you reminded him of his ex and him and his ex ended badly, you have to understand that any unresolved issues that he has is going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. But we also have to realize is that if something positive about you reminded him about something positive about his ex, that originally would have triggered something positive until you mentioned unresolved issues. It could have been intended as a compliment, and then you tried to psychoanalyze the situation, which definitely ruined the remainder of your communication with him. Because if he was having a great time with you the way he used to have a great time with his ex, and then the toxicity of you psychoanalyzing him because he said that you basically bring back fond memories of past times, you would be the toxic version of his ex-girlfriend if his ex-girlfriend wasn't already toxic. So it for him, yeah, that was a final nail in the coffin, and he's not gonna give you any more time after that. If you guys cross paths in the future, you have to realize, if a man is going to leave the opportunity for you to reach back out to him, he's not going to block you. There's a future. Because when a man blocks a woman, he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. When a woman blocks a man, she don't really feel like talking to him right now. But eventually she's going to unblock him and try to reach out. And if he doesn't respond to her, then she's going to be upset. But when a man blocks a woman, he blocks a woman and then he forgets that he blocks the woman because he has blocked her out of his mind, his heart, and his contact information. So you're never going to get in contact with this guy again. The only way that you guys would be able to see or talk to each other again is if y'all cross paths. And if you're talking on a social media dating app where you're not even living in the same country, the likelihood that you two will see each other is slim to none. So yes, you ask, is that a forever situation? I'm going to tell you that is definitely a forever situation. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you guys pop in today. Go on to the next one.
Did I fuck up by saying I miss you? I have been dating a girl for 3 months. I was on vacation for almost a month. We have been texting while I was on vacation and sharing photos. My most recent text, I thought maybe I should squeeze in "I miss you" since we're going on another date soon and I am back home. However, now I feel that might have been too sappy and maybe a love bomb. Yet I feel it would also be a bad look if I withdraw the text. She hasn't read the text yet as of this post. Did I mess up? I don't know if she's at that level of interest yet. She went out of her way to learn tennis, so we could play tennis together, but she's also too shy to have her first kiss.
See, I was about to stop that halfway through and just start chopping it up. Okay, so you're overthinking yourself. If you guys um have spent time together and it's gonna be a while before the next time that you spend time together, or you're like in between those two scenarios, there's gonna come a time where, because of the fastly developing emotions that you have, because men fall into love quicker than women and women fall out of love quicker than men. uh the fact is that your feelings for her could be growing. Her effort to get to know who you are could be further exacerbating the growth of your feelings for her, but she's just like entertaining herself. So you may not understand, or may not know, or may not have that confidence to believe that she is there for you and has the same feelings as you. But it is better to tell her that you missed her than to tell her that you love her when you guys have only been dating for a short period of time. It is better for you to say things that, like, "You make me happy," or "I look forward to the time that I spend with you," than to just blurt out that you love her inside of the first couple of weeks. I understand that sometimes that can be said, and that could be something that is widely reciprocated by the other party, and then you guys can hit it off and go down a very long path of happiness. But I also understand that if you start blurting out the love word too early in a relationship, it'll be misperceived as love bombing, especially to those who have a toxic past and are afraid of commitment. And they're not going to receive that very well, and they're going to run. So, since we understand that, it's probably a good idea for you to subtly say, "Well, I've missed you," because you have. You've been thinking about her since the last time you two were together, and you have eagerly awaited the next time that you guys are going to hang out with one another. So it is not wrong to say that "I missed you." It's not wrong to say "I love you," but women don't take that too kindly too often. So it's probably better for you to have said "I missed you," but don't overthink it. If she is not looking for long-term commitment and you say "I miss you," and that leads to her blocking you, then it wasn't for you. If you say that "I miss you," and she says, "Well, I was thinking about you a lot also," she doesn't necessarily have to say she missed you. She could just acknowledge the fact that you've been on her mind about as much as she's been on your mind. And then you kind of get a hint that you two are in the same ballpark. You guys are in the same atmosphere. You might not be on the same level, but you're very close to one another. So defining, or having the ability to identify where you both stand, as well as identifying the type of relationship that you have, comes with that communication. And I know that some people say, "Well, you just have to find the right time." There is no right time. You will never know when it is the right time to open up to your partner and tell them how you really feel. But the longer it takes for you to open up and tell your partner how you really feel, the more likely that, if your partner is not looking for progression, that you will fall into this friend zone scenario where your partner assumed that you guys were just friends and you're treating your partner like y'all are in a relationship. Because men behave as husbands from the first date. Women do not behave like wives from the first date. Some do, but not that many. Some of them might behave as girlfriends from the first date, but not always do you get the wife treatment from the girl from the first date. So the fact is that a girl can put you in a friend zone and get that husband treatment from you because you guys did not develop your friendship, but you're not going to get wife treatment from her in the friend zone. She's going to treat you like a brother, even to the disrespectful levels. she's going to treat you like a brother. So it is up to you to make sure that you find out where you stand with her throughout. And subtle clues like, I missed you, I've been looking forward to seeing you, and you know, you brighten up my week, you're the best parts of my day, or the best parts of my week, stuff to that effect, hints to her that she's very important to you without you blurting out that you love her. So take that with you and let me know how that turns out. Let's move on to the next one. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.
I'm 35 and I am planning to tell my wife, who's 37, that I want a divorce at our next couples therapy session. Have I
Jeez.
wasted a decade of our lives? We have been married for 4 years and have been together for almost a decade. She has a lot of stress from her job and trauma from her family and past relationships, but she is happy with our marriage and I'm miserable. For context, it took me 2 years of asking for her to agree to go to couples counseling in the first place, and we've been in therapy, together and alone, for almost 2 more years. She knows I'm miserable, she knows I'm depressed, but she has put in so little effort to make any changes that I'm just done. I'm sad all the time and she knows that, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. Our therapist knows about my plan. When I told her, she said that she was a little surprised that I had held on so long with nothing changing or improving. Obviously, she didn't tell me about their individual sessions, but she did say that nothing in any of our sessions, couples or individual, led her to believe that I was making unreasonable requests or ignoring what she wanted. Our love languages are different and I know that, but mine never get addressed. I crave physical touch, not just intimacy, and want her to say kind things about me, the way I do with her all the time. Her languages, quality time and gift giving, have taken precedent, and I honestly love buying her things she wants. I have the money and I love seeing her face when she gets something she's had her eye on. With regards to intimacy, I do everything. Literally everything in bed to get both of us off, but I get touched so infrequently that I feel there must be something wrong with me. I know this is going to crush her, but I can't do this anymore. I don't even know what I'm looking for here. To vent? To get some assurance that I'm not a horrible person? I feel like I'm ruining her life and throwing away a decade of our lives. She also doesn't have the same support net that I do. Her family lives in Dallas, and her mom and dad have never been very warm or comforting, which is also making me feel worse about this decision.
What I can tell you is that you're not doing the wrong thing. Usually, because men only leave about 10 to 30% of the time, you leave because you're unhappy. You don't like the way you're being treated, um, and nothing is being done to change it. I've said on the podcast just about every time that I talk about a relationship dynamic that is not good for either side is if you are in a relationship with somebody that is recognizes that you are unhappy and they do not put in effort to change that, then they don't care about you. And that ultimately means that that relationship is over. So the longer that you linger in that relationship, the longer this person is getting the high life from you, but you are not getting the reciprocal from them. Um, I have said on numerous occasions that we need to stand on our non-negotiable expectations for behavior, where because a lot of people say set up boundaries. You don't need to set up boundaries. We're in a relationship. We're supposed to be transparency, a reasonable amount at least. We don't need to set up walls between us to prevent each other from hurting each other. We need to set expectations for each other that we will not negotiate on, so that if you do not fulfill those expectations, that you will be replaced, because I'm not going to allow you to hurt me the way that I've been hurt in the past, and you're not going to allow me to hurt you the way you've been hurt in the past. That is how that works. But with non-negotiable expectations for behavior, you also have a give and take arrangement where your love language is supposed to be physical contact and other such. So like holding your hand, touching your arm, laying her head on your shoulder, putting her hand on your leg, something to that effect. Maybe if she even used you as like a pillow and laid her head in your lap, or like had her legs crossed your legs. If you're sitting on the couch and she's laying on the couch, and she's laying across you while she's laying on the couch, like the connection, the contact that you're looking for. If she's not willing to do that, You guys got to touch. You guys got to talk. But the fact is that first person accountability, you're failing to assert the fact that you want to see your love language met, because while she's not treating you the way you want to be treated, you are still unflexing on her receiving your resources. Fact is that in most relationships, men are the financial dominant ones, where they're paying for most of the stuff. It doesn't matter if the women make more money than the men. It's just that more often than not, that the men are paying more into the standard of living than the women are. And that's by choice, not by force. So, because men volunteer to pay for everything and women voluntarily allow it. The fact is that if her love language is buying gifts and quality time, you guys could be sitting in the same room and not touching each other, and you're fulfilling her love language, but she's not fulfilling yours. Likewise, you're buying her nice things and she loves that, and she's glowing and she's receiving all of the best things in the world from you, but you're not getting anything from her. The trade-off there is, if you stop buying gifts, she would recognize that something has changed. Red flags will start coming up for her, because if you used to give her gifts on a regular basis because you got the money to spend on buying her lavish things, and then you stop buying her lavish things, she's going to start recognizing that she hasn't gotten anything from you in a while. Especially if you've been begging for couples therapy, you've been telling her that you're miserable for over 2 years. And then in that 2 years time, not only did she not change, she was not bringing you, she wasn't going to the couples therapy to try to work out the issues. So fact is that at that moment, when you started asking for the couples therapy and she wasn't going, that's when the gifts should have stopped coming. That's when during the couples therapy, less quality time would occur. If you didn't have physical contact where she was holding your hand or laying her head on your shoulder, because it doesn't always have to be about sex. The love language of physical contact is just the touch of somebody. Her being able to walk up and put her hand on your chest while she's talking to you is enough. That is enough validation. You know, if you guys are laying in bed together and she was able to touch your face before you go to bed or something, that is enough. Something like giving you a kiss first thing in the morning when y'all wake up, that is enough. Women believe that a man's love language is physical contact, and she just has to have sex with him. But the fact is that that's not it. That does do it sometimes, but that's not it. You guys could touch each other throughout the day appropriately, and still be able to fulfill that love language. The adolescent levels of, like, touching each other, holding each other's hands, play fighting with one another, stuff to that effect, that could be accomplished. So, if you were to reach out for her hand and she pulls away, then you get up and walk out of the room. If you were to try to, lay on her lap and she tells you to move, you get up and walk out of the room. She'll start noticing that you're not interested in entertaining a one-sided situation where you're expressing love to her, but you're not feeling love from her, and she'll start asking questions. When you start reminding her that you've had this problem for a long period of time and you guys are going to therapy for it, and she's not doing anything to change it, you start recognizing that there is an underlying problem that she needs to put effort into fixing. A lot of times, there are some women that believe that it's the man's responsibility to run the whole relationship, including making the relationship work. And that doesn't work. No one person, man or woman, is responsible for making a relationship work. It takes two people to come together. It takes two people to work out the issues. And the person on the left has to make sure that the person on the right is happy, while the person on the right is trying to make sure that the person on the left is happy. If one person recognizes that the other person is not happy, that person needs to make sure that the unhappy person starts becoming happy again. So find out what's wrong and fix it. But that's a two-party action to do. And if only one party is investing effort into that, it's not going to work. When it comes down to satisfaction in the bedrooms, a lot of ladies feel like they need to have this massive body count so that they can know how to satisfy men. That's not it. You just got to participate. You can't just be there like watching paint dry. You can't just be there like a corpse. You can't just be there like you're unconscious. That's not entertaining at all. And even though procreation isn't supposed to be about entertainment, the expression of physical intimacy is a area of entertainment outside of procreation. And if it's boring, it's not interesting. And outside of reproducing, there's no desire for it if there's no passion and excitement involved in the activity. So she's got to put effort into satisfying him the way he's putting effort into satisfying her. And if she's not, then you've got a problem. Some women can be taught how to satisfy you, but those that have a very high body count typically believe that they know what men want, and they are less willing to listen to what a man has to say about what that man wants. And that puts them in a position where um, there are going to be times where the women are not going to want to hear it. They're going to do what they do best, do their signature move that they've practiced on a number of men, and then after that they're going to be out the door if you're not satisfied with it. So gonna be honest with you, bro, you know, if she's not doing, you married her, she was like this when you married her. So that part I would say, like, yeah, you wasted 8 years because you knew that this was her, that she didn't just turn into this, she's always been this way. And then you still married her ignoring this fact. And now, so many years into the marriage, now you can't stand it. And now you're talking about getting a divorce. You both wasted the last decade because you invested into somebody that wasn't your match. And she was on autopilot, allowing you to do it because she was getting whatever she was getting from you. She did not have it because you got to realize a woman can give you her heart and give somebody else her body. Likewise, she could give you her body and give somebody else her heart, where you're funding her existence and she's enjoying that from you, but at the same time, you know, she would prefer to be with somebody else. So you have to realize that before you guys even got to the I do's, if you're not on that level where uh she is reciprocating with you, y'all should have never made it to the I do's. But you did. So you got to rethink your non-negotiable expectations for behavior, like I told you guys before. All right, let's go ahead and get on the next one because we got quite a few of these coming up.
What happened to OLD? 27-year-old male, I used to use these apps 5 years ago and receive a lot of matches. Even last year I received a fair amount. Now when I use even the same pics as 2019, I receive just a trickle of matches, maybe 1 or 2 a day compared to around 100 a week.
Okay, hold on. Uh First, I want to say make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you pop it into the situation. Second of all, I'm going to say if you're using 2019 photos, you're fishing. You are catfishing the bejesus out of that platform. Why do you think that you could throw down some 2019 pictures and get you some bomb D? I mean, I understand that some guys don't change their appearance. I look the same way I look when I was 16. I could probably get away with putting up a photo from 2019 in 2025, but I'm going to look exactly like I look in that photo. And that might be a better photo, and I don't have the time to take a good photo this time around or today. You got some social media apps that force you to use your selfie camera to take a photo of yourself right now today and verify yourself. And truth, that works. But if you want to put up 1 or 2 of your older best photos that you've taken in the past, we're looking at what, 6 years now, because you're talking about 2019 photos. At the same time, you want to put up some 2024 photos. So the fact that your photos have been circulating around social media since 2019, especially if it's on the same dating apps that you've been using since 2019, a large quantity of the servers already come across those photos and not too interested in them. If they weren't part of your collective back in the day, they've already swiped left on you or given you a shot and gone into the archives with you, and they've moved on. So you're not going to get much more out of that particular platform. You would have to go to a new platform, and you probably want to be interested in looking into new photos. That's what I would say. So don't always hang yourself on photos from 5 years ago, because fellas, I can tell you right now, we don't like when women put up a photo when they were 22 and they're 40 and they don't look nothing like what they look in that photo. We're chasing after the young, slim, tight one, and they're old, wrinkly, and overweight. That's not, we don't like that, so we shouldn't do that to them. So I'm going to tell you that it's more effective for whatever attraction that you're trying to get, because you got to think about this. Are you really trying to play the field, or are you trying to find you long-term commitment? Because your age is also going to play a factor in whether or not women swipe right on you. You might look just as good as you did when you were in your early 20s, but fact is that when you're in your mid 30s and early 40s, they're not going to be as interested in you unless you've got money in your profile, which means you've got to be talking about what kind of income you have, what kind of big business, entrepreneurship, whatever that you've got going on, so that they can say, oh, he's got extra money, and then come over and talk to you. Because those that are looking for financial stability are going to come and check your box. Those that are looking for a fun night on the town, not necessarily willing to do that unless they know that you've got the money to spend and you have the willingness to spend it. If your profile says that you're looking for a good time and they're looking for a good time, they'll hit you up. But if your profile says that we're looking for something serious and a commitment and challenges for the rest of our lives kind of situation, they're not going to sign up on that, because they're not ready to be responsible yet. And if they're not ready to be responsible yet, they're not going to sign up on your platform. So you also got to look at the text, not just the photos. But let's go ahead and move up on to the next one.
In this day and age, not responding to you is a choice. Accept that they are choosing not to text you back and move on. The girl that I have been seeing for about 6 months just got from a girls' trip, and aside from the fact that I could feel something off when she got back, the communication lately has been almost non-existent. Now you can argue that people get busy. For sure, things happen, life gets busy, and sometimes it takes us a minute to respond. But let's face it, that's a choice too. It doesn't take much to say, hey, busy right now. But here's the other thing. She is currently unemployed. She constantly posts to social media and even sends reels to me. She is the type of person that has her phone on the table at dinner. She always has her phone on her. Always. In this day and age, we get alerts for everything. Not responding to a text for a couple hours, no big deal. Not responding at all means you read the message and chose not to respond. She is prioritizing responding to friends, posting to social media, and whatever else she has going on. Which is fine. Everyone has their own life to live, but I'm not going to prioritize someone who has prioritized me so little in their own life that you can't be bothered to text me back. If this is happening to you, maybe you're inclined to text first, maybe you want to excuse it like something has come up. But if in your gut you feel anxious over their not responding, that is your body feeling wrong about the whole thing. Think back. Do you text first in the morning frequently? Do you feel like you're always carrying the conversation? Do you feel like they don't actually take an active interest in your life? Or are the only conversations you have about them or their issues? If you said yes to any of those, you are not their priority and they are actively choosing to not converse with you. Move on. Sure, it'll hurt, but from bitter experience, I can tell you that it will not hurt anywhere as much as trying to salvage something that needs to end.
Yo, that's deep. That needs to be a highlight reel right there. Okay, so yeah, you're right. With the advancements of technology, we have the ability to respond quickly. If you matter to somebody, that person is going to put forth effort to communicate with you. They might not be able to talk to you right now, but they will tell you that they can't talk to you right now. But as soon as they're free, you're the first person they reach out to. If you're reaching out to them while they're working, then yeah, you got a full shift at work, and then after they get off from work, you might be the first person they call before they start the car and back out of the driveway at the job. But unemployed, you ain't got no excuse for that. Likewise, though, even as a content creator, if that is supposed to be her job, is to create content and get paid for it. The fact is that talking to your boyfriend or talking to your best friend, talking to your aunts and uncles and dad and stuff like that, you do that before you go on the live. You do that after you come off the live. when she sends you the reels, that's the moment for her to reach out and say, hey, I finished working on my platform. What do you have to do today or whatever? Let's meet up, stuff like that. But if she's not showing you any interest, you just let it go. You let it fade away. I used to tell people back in the day when we used to have landlines only before cell phones came out. So, that was a long time ago, because that was even further before internet came out, is that you call them once, maybe twice. Then you put the responsibility for them to call you onto that person. If they don't reach out to you, you're not a priority. If they don't, hey, how you been? You're not a priority. You just fade out of their life. Then after that, like if they only contact you when they want something or when they need something, you're not a priority. And that also means that, if you're thinking about this, you're like, dang, I got some people that I actually value that I haven't talked to outside of those types of dynamics. You need to probably reach out to them and find out what's going on in their lives and what's going on in their days. Because if they got stuff going on and they're only talking to you about your stuff, then you're not showing compassion towards their issues. But likewise, when we start talking about in a relationship, we have to remember that we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're not being valued and appreciated. So yeah, if you initiate the conversations every day, stop, see what happens. Sudden change is not always good in a relationship, but sudden change tests the waters. If you reach out to her when you wake up, every time you wake up, and then you decide, well, this time I'm gonna wait until lunchtime and reach out to her. If you've been reaching out to her every day as soon as you get up, or if you tell her before you guys go to bed every day, contact me when you get up. If she's not reaching out to you, then there's a lack of something going on there. When when a woman changes her attitude, that means that her position in the relationship changed. Straight up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So if she's treating you different, it doesn't matter if somebody talked her out of it, if she's interested in somebody else, if she might be focused on the grind right now because she doesn't have enough going on, or she might feel like the relationship doesn't have enough value in her life for her to try to entertain it any further. Either way, if she's changed and her attitude is not as positive as it was, it's not going to go back to the way it used to be. So you just have to let that go. All right, guys, let's move on to the next one.
My parents are spending my inheritance. What can I do about it?
Well, not a nothing, not a dang thing. There's nothing that you can do about that. If they created your inheritance, they have every right to spend it. Because they are the power of attorneys over your inheritance, and they dictate what you're supposed to get. Beyond that, those people who get the inheritance on your behalf from like grandparents and other such, where your parents are technically power of attorney over you and your estate, that means that if they're going to do things that takes care of your standard of living on your behalf so that you don't have to suffer, they have every right to spend that money, just like with child support. You as a minor child can't do anything about it because they're not actually stealing your money. They are investing it in the lifestyle that you benefit from. Now, you will have those scenarios where your parents are taking your money and they're entertaining themselves and buying yachts and all this other stuff, and that might be a legal matter. But beyond that, if you're dealing with bare necessities and school supplies and other such stuff, I mean, if they don't have enough money to take care of you and there's an inheritance there that's going to give you a better standard of living, that's what the inheritance was designed to do. That's going to give you a better standard of living. They're going to spend it. But it's a lot like parents who get child support for their kids. Those parents that actually spend the child support on their kids, they're doing what they're supposed to do with the money. Those who get child support money and they take care of themselves because they spent their own money on the kid, they're wasting the child support money, because if anything, if you don't need the money that you're getting in child support, you should be investing that money in stocks and bonds for the child, so that when the child reaches a certain age, you can have it put into a trust where when that child reaches a certain age, that child will start getting a payout, so that that child does not have to financially struggle as much as the parents did growing up. But in no situation should you be in a position to say that they're buying themselves name brand everything, taking good care of themselves, and you're not getting anything out of the deal, because that would be neglecting the child. But no, you can't really do anything about them spending your inheritance as a child, because you would have to start by filing a police report about theft, talking to a lawyer, getting a investigation opened up, and then if you can prove that what they're doing is illegal, then you put your parents in jail. But if you don't want to put your parents in jail, you're going to have to let them spend your inheritance until you're old enough to move out. That's pretty much uh the best I can do. Now, when you're an adult and they're spending your inheritance, now that's basically illegal, because like if you guys are staying in the same house, but again, that requires you to take legal action against your parents and potentially get reimbursement from civil action, because they're spending your inheritance when they're not supposed to. All right, let's get on to the next one. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as we're going along here.
Just got rejected, and I'm really sad. I told this guy that I liked him, and he said he was down to go for coffee as friends, but didn't see us as a romantic match. This was someone I really liked for a while, and I swear they flirted with me too. It's just really confusing. It's so hard not to go down a rabbit hole of all the negative thoughts, such as, I'm ugly, and I'm a loser, no one is ever gonna love me, I'm not pretty enough to be chosen, I turn men off by being myself, I'm not thin enough to be loved. Honestly, it feels like I have some stamp on my forehead that makes me undateable by anyone I would actually be interested in. Anyone who is interested in me, I just can't like them no matter how hard I try. I think I'm destined to be alone forever. Rejection really, really sucks. And no one wants you to talk about it because it's pathetic. They tell you all the platitudes that they just weren't the right ones. Rejection is God's protection. You're awesome, they are just stupid. But I can't help feeling like there must be something wrong with me. I don't want advice, I just want to put this out into the void and not feel alone. Because I feel really alone right now.
Well, but you're going to get some advice today. So you were right about a lot of that. But the other part is that I figure out what your problem is just based on what you're explaining to me. First thing I'm going to tell you, welcome to being a man, because rejection sucks. But we've got to experience it a lot more than women have to experience it, because women parade themselves around to get the attention from men. And that attention from men leads to the men having the requirement to initiate and engage. And the initiations and engaging leads to the rejection. As women, you're going to get a fair share of rejection, which are modern day egalitarian style scenarios where you can show up and participate in being turned down when a man isn't interested in you. But he let you down nicely. He didn't embarrass you. He didn't drag your name through the mud or anything like that. He just said that you're not a romantic interest for him. Plain and simple. He didn't even hit you with the we could just be friends. He's like, nah, we can go grab a cup of coffee or something and talk. But yeah, we're not gonna turn into anything. Now, one thing you did say that expresses what's wrong with you. And this is what's wrong with a lot of people. The fact is that if you are interested in people that are not interested in you, those people are your type. But that is not the type of person that is beneficial for you. Those people that you are not interested in for unrealistic and shallow reasons, those people that are interested in you are the people that would have gave you the type of relationship and the type of lifestyle that you had wanted. But you could not find yourself attracted to that person enough for you to give that person the time that it takes to grow on you, because love isn't always an instantaneous thing. The women from the Philippines will marry a man just because that man will take care of her, and she will learn to love him over 25 years. They usually invest 10 to 15 years into their engagement with you before they start gallivanting off into the sunset. But if you treat them well, rumor has it that they will stick with you even if they didn't originally love you. So you could not be their type, but because you are the type of person that they need to change their lifestyle, they will grow to love you. So if you're not willing to, and I had a Jamaican man tell me once before, love who loves you. So if you're not uh allowing the people who do want to spend their life with you to have the opportunity to try, then you're failing yourself, because each person that is attempting to engage you is half of your successful relationship, and each person that you are chasing is the other half. So you're rejecting the ones that would work in the attempts to chase after the ones that won't. But once you realize that that's not how things work, that if a man is interested in you, you should give him a chance, then you'll stop seeing all of this rejection from your side, but you're still going to be rejecting these men because you're not really interested in them. So, I mean, yeah, if you're not going to allow the people that are interested in you, that are willing to spend their lives with you, to do so uh, without discrimination, then you're going to be in a position where you're going to be alone for a large portion of the foreseeable future. Now, you may stumble across the right person, and then again, you might stumble across the wrong person and make the situation work because you're tired of being alone. But in order for you to find somebody now, you have to change your perception of your type versus the type of person that you need to succeed. All right, let's move on to the next ones.
People who just want to text. I wonder why they do that. Wonder if they married and just want an ego boost. Wonder if they want to play games. Wonder what's up with that behavior. Even after meeting in person, it comes with a bunch of excuses to postpone, etc. Talking about someone that lives an hour away, not a different state away, where this is common for online fantasies. Now this dude tells me is because of his job schedule, which, not lying, it really sucks. Back in the days they used to do this when they had a girlfriend or wife and chickened out. But what about now?
Guys got too much on their plate. Women do too, but guys got too much on their plate. Guys are going to text a lot easier to get the message to you than call, because you also have to understand that each time someone calls, the rejection is that someone else is not going to answer. So you have to also take into account the fact that you're looking at he can send you a message and you get it, and whether or not you respond to it is up to you. If he calls you, you have to choose to answer the phone. And if you're driving, you can't answer unless you have the Bluetooth in your car. If you're dealing with the kids, you can't answer because your hands are full. If you're at work, you can't answer because you're on the work floor. If you're sleeping, you're not going to answer because you're trying to get some sleep. There are so many different reasons why you won't pick up that phone call. But there's not that many reasons why you don't respond to a text message, besides you're not interested. The delay in the response is based upon your lack of availability or your lack of interest. So men are not just sending the messages because they're cowards or because they're secret love affairs or anything like that. They're sending you text messages because it's easier to get the information to you. Before cell phones, people used to send emails, and people used to get those emails faster than they check their voicemails, faster than they answer the phone. They turned emails into text messages, and people used to start sending text messages more than they sent phone calls because it was cheaper. You would pay a fixed amount for one text message, and you had like 500 words on your text message. Before that, they had like 25 words on a text message. Then they made it longer. And you have to think about the fact that back in those days, when you were paying like 20, 30 cents a minute, 69 cents a minute, and then you're paying 10 cents a text message, it is cheaper for me to send you a text message than it is for me to call your phone. So all of this boils down to the fact that, he's doing what he believes is necessary to get the message to you. It's not ill-willed behavior. It's just conditioned behavior, socialization. So if you don't like the fact that he only texts you, you can respond to his text with a phone call and then talk to him on the phone. You can respond to his text messages with video calls. You can encourage those video calls by every time he texts you, you video call him, and then he will make it a habit to just video call you. He might send you a text message at first to find out if you're free. And if you say, yeah, you're free, then he'll follow that up with a video call. But you have to show him that calling you and video calling you is appropriate thing to do, since he has gotten used to sending text messages. In order to change the dynamic, you have to show that the dynamic needs to be changed. All right, let's move on to the next one.
The guy I'm dating wants me to cut off my male friends. I really need advice. There is a guy I'm currently seeing, and at first, it all seemed perfect. He had so many green flags, and everything was perfect. Too perfect to a point where I thought that there has to be something wrong with that. Well, yesterday he told me that if we want to make things official, I need to cut contact to my male friends, because men and women can be friends because men are only friends with women they want to date. And why would I need male friends when I have him and can do everything with him? I'm honestly just speechless right now. I told him there's no way I'll cut my friends off, no matter the gender. Most friends I have I also know since years, and for me, a friend and a boyfriend are two separate things. What should I do now? He is in a very bad mood since that conversation and refuses to talk with me about it. Edit. I met up with him in public and told him that I thought about our argument. I offered him that if he really feels unsafe about my male friends, he can meet them and see for himself that they are not as bad as he thinks they are. He told me once again that he has no interest in meeting my male friends, since they are his enemies, and every male friend of mine is automatically his enemy. Before I even got to continue with the conversation, he got loud, to a point where people started staring at us. I didn't want to put up with this and just turned around, walked to my car, and drove away. He is still bombarding me with messages and calls, but I don't know how to answer. He's blaming me for ruining this perfect relationship that we had just for male friends of mine.
Yeah, he's right. From a male's perspective, I know some women are not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you he's right. The fact is that men do not typically make female friends on purpose. Men typically fall into the friend zone, and those male friends stay male friends, waiting on their turn to sleep with that female, to establish a physical connection with her, to try to further from a friendship to a romantic relationship. So those male friends are all just waiting their turn in line to be selected. So no, it's not good. People of the opposite sex can have friendships. That is true. But you are not supposed to be maintaining social interactions with anybody that you used to have feelings with, anybody who still has feelings for you or used to have feelings for you, or anybody that you've had sexual relations with. When you get into a new relationship, those types of contact are not supposed to be there. And your boyfriend or husband is not supposed to be meeting your alternative options. That's the best thing that you can call them. Those are the second string. Those are the rejects, the discontinued models, the clearance levels. Like you're introducing me to competition so that I can like the competition. For what? Because whenever you have a problem in a relationship, you're going to do what? You're going to go to my competition and you're going to talk bad about your relationship. Then after you've done that, your competition is going to console the girlfriend, and then the girlfriend is going to end up in a state of vulnerability, sleeping with the male friend, and it would be an accident, but he was just waiting for his chance to shoot a shot. So to prevent from having that type of negativity in your relationship, he did a good job of standing on his non-negotiable expectations for behavior, and you did a horrible job of respecting the feelings for your boyfriend. And shoe on the other foot, ladies, for those of you who are going to think that, oh, I'm just really misogynistic about my perspective. Women don't want men to talk to women at all. It doesn't mean he can't have a female friend. It means that he can't even communicate with a female stranger in a grocery store or at the gym. He can't look in the direction of a female that is overly sexualizing herself with scantily clad attire. He can't. So that means that he's got to walk around with blinders on, because he can't even so much as look at another woman, much less talk to her. So God forbid he has a female friend. That's going to be as intimidating as all heck. And then that's going to negatively impact the relationship. So since we understand that this is the dynamic from women, we also have to recognize that it's a reasonable expectation from the men. So since we know that across the board that girlfriends don't want their boyfriends to have other women in their life, we also understand that boyfriends don't want girlfriends to have other men in their life. We need to recognize that when we get into a intimate relationship with the opposite sex, that we should probably be more distant with the friends that we have for the opposite sex. We should make sure that those friends understand that we're in a relationship, and then we're going to spend less time with those friends because we're prioritizing those relationships. That's what happens. It happens to family also. But you remember that as you set this precedent, you are understanding that you are showing support for your relationship the way women ask men to show support for their relationship. So for you to feel insecure about the fact that you can't cut off all of the other potential suitors for the one guy that you're talking to right now, you're not ready to be in a long-term relationship because you're still playing the field with the guys that you've got in a friend zone. You're going to get your emotional validation from the male friends that's waiting their turn to sleep with you. But and you could get financial subsidies from some of these men as well. But you're not going to get the long-term relationship from a man that wants to be the only emotional attachment that you have to a male figure that is not related to you. And that makes sense to have that expectation. So until you're comfortable with doing that, you should probably stay single. But when you decide that you want to get into a relationship, you have to remember anybody that you used to have a crush on, anybody that you used to have feelings for that you may have suppressed, anybody that has a crush on you, anybody who used to have a crush on you or suppressed feelings in some kind of way, anybody that you've had sex with or seen completely naked, you should probably just do away with those people when you get into your next relationship. Because I mean, without that, you're going to always have that opportunity for failure in your relationship because you're keeping landmines around from before your relationship that could potentially destroy your relationship on the wrong day, walking on the wrong mind. So just remember that as you get into your next relationship. We got a couple more, so let's go ahead and move into the next one.
Girl asked to reschedule 4 times. I probably didn't respond in the best way, but I'm blocked now, lol. I had been talking with this girl I met on a dating app, and we had called a few times and planned to go on a date, but she had to cancel the first time because of a birthday party, another time for car troubles, and twice because of snow when there was less than an inch falling. I had already driven 25 minutes to meet at the cafe when I got this last cancellation text. I responded that I wanted to make sure we were both serious about looking for a relationship, and that I was kind of feeling led on with all the rescheduling, and that I wished she let me know sooner before driving all that way for the date. I said with rescheduling 4 times, she was lucky I wasn't out the 3rd time. The text may have been a little harsh, but I was honestly annoyed. I know, they could have been all valid reasons, but that's 4 times in the same week, and it made me wonder how the future would look if we did end up dating. I truly enjoyed chatting with her over call, and she seemed nice, but after I sent that text, she blocked me and said I was an A asterisk asterisk call. Like, I get it, but I was really starting to feel she wasn't valuing my time. I had put my schedule aside multiple days at this point.
Okay, so yeah, she's being an asshole about that. So this is the thing, sir. Um, you were supposed to go on a date with her, and she canceled her date with you because she had a birthday party. That's a bullshit explanation. Fact is that she should have contacted you and told you that she had this birthday party that she was going to, and then invited you to go on that birthday party. She didn't invite you to go on that birthday party. She canceled your date to go do something with her friends that were more important than you. She should not have done that. If she wasn't going to bring you to the birthday party, she should have went to the birthday party and told the people or contacted the people at the birthday party and said, "Look, I already had these plans and I'm not going to be able to make it because I've got this date. Unless I can bring the date to the birthday party, I can't come because I already have this commitment." If you were important to her, she would not cancel on you without rescheduling and then meeting that expectation. So 2 times she says, "Oh, it's snowing." Those might be valid reasons that she didn't come to you, but that should not have been a cancellation. Yeah, she would have made you mission impossible through that snow to get to her. But the fact is that if she really wanted to see you, then she would have said, "Well, I'm not driving in this type of weather for whatever psychological or emotional reasons that she doesn't feel comfortable with driving in the snow." But her response then is, "Can you come get me or can you come to me? And then we can do something different than traveling in this bad weather." Still, she's going to be making sure that you know that even though the situation has changed, she is still interested in you. She still wants to be with you, but the circumstances are not always in her favor and things does not always go according to plan. As long as she is able to articulate the fact that you are what she wants, changing the plans is fine. But the fact is that she's going to use narcissistic tendencies to make you feel bad about the fact that you're telling her what you think and how you feel. You feel misled and abandoned, and you feel abused that you are in this situation where she is stringing you along for a date and then canceling right before the date. You have to travel a far distance to get there. You're going to leave early so that you can battle traffic. And then right before you show up at the location, she's calling you, telling you that she can't make it. So now you got to turn around and go back. Each cancellation costs you money outside of time. She's not compensating for that. That's unacceptable. So yeah, telling her what you think and how you feel, that's perfectly understandable. And if she doesn't like what you have to say, then yeah, she should block you. She should be more appropriate and adult and mature about it. But even though she wasn't, you got to recognize that, yeah, you did the right thing. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as we keep going. We got a couple more of these.
As a 25-year-old made my 25-year-old boyfriend cry, and I feel like my heart is breaking from the guilt. My boyfriend and I were watching Avatar, The Last Airbender, when I made a comment that he was like Sokka. He replied, "How?" I'm not a baffling idiot, and I said, "No, but you are cynical and a hater," and he replied,
Hold on. Wait. So you're talking about Suko, and you said, because I'm gonna keep going with this, but real quick, you said that he reminds you of Suko from The Last Airbender, and you're gonna call him cynical and a hater, and you wonder why this man cried. All right, let's keep going. That was dirty.
"I don't understand why people say that I famously like many things," and I said, "Yes, you like many things, but sometimes you can be too critical of or hate on things that other people like." His being a hater is something we joke around about, so I didn't think it was new information.
Oh, stop. No, being a hater is something that you joke about. you keep calling this dude a hater, that's going to chip away at his tolerance. And eventually you're going to break him down and strike a nerve. And you're sitting over here saying, like a root canal that you kept digging until you struck a nerve and you don't understand why this man broke down in tears. That is evil. Let's finish this before I start talking about this.
I glanced at him again, and all of a sudden he started tearing up, and then he just started crying. This is the first time I have ever seen him cry. Something in me broke, and it still feels broken. I feel so horrible. I was trying to hold it together, but I ended up crying too because it made me so sad to see him. So sad. We talked about it a bit, and he said that it's a sore spot because so many people in his life say that, and it makes him feel bad because he doesn't want to be someone that is unpleasant to be around. He keeps reassuring me up and down that I didn't do anything wrong and that I'm being too hard on myself. But I feel like I crushed him. I'm so scared he's going to think I don't see him for all the other wonderful things he is, and that I'm just like everyone else and break up with me. I'm so sad. No, I was not trying to be malicious, and did in fact think it was something I could make light of since we have before, and it hasn't been an issue. Hence me thinking it wouldn't bother him. Although I do think I had some pent-up frustration given he had made a comment when we first started watching the show. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, I don't know what I expected from a kid's show. That was such an obvious plot hole. And I think this hurt my feelings because I really like ATLA, and it seems every time I welcome him into my world and interest he has something like that to say about it. Yet we spend most of our time engaging with his interests, and I am open-minded about them and have a positive attitude towards them. I understand the way I approached it was not appropriate, and I feel so terrible. I know it doesn't make it better, but I never, ever meant to hurt him. I just wish I could undo it and want to do everything I can to make him feel better.
Yes, you did. You did mean to hurt that man. He hurt your feelings because he said that your last Airbender had too many plot holes in it that made no sense, and he didn't understand it. I watch a lot of anime, and I can tell you that the last Airbender movie was a disappointment in comparison to the anime. But that doesn't change the fact that you're gonna say that I'm cynical if I make that comment because you really like this show. The truth of the matter is that you were bitter about the fact that he did not find the show that you found so interesting as you did. And because of that, you took shots at him. And then you struck a nerve because you said something that a lot of other people have said about him, which is that he criticizes heavily anything that he doesn't agree with, which he's supposed to do. That's his right to do, is to criticize anything that he doesn't agree with. But the funny thing is, though, is that if you love and respect him and care about him, then you should have heard plenty of people tell him or him tell you that plenty of people have told him over the months and years that you guys have been talking to one another that people say that he's a little bit too harsh about his opinions. And that should be one of those situations because he should have said it by now that bothers him, that people think that he's got a very heavy opinion that is against the groupthink idea. But you got to tell me that that wasn't for you to do. So now that you done hurt the man's feelings, you made him burst into tears, and now the man is sitting over there crying on the sidelines. Now you want to say, oh, well, I feel bad because I didn't mean to hurt. Man, you meant to destroy him. You couldn't compare him to the little cute monkey. You couldn't compare him to the elder monk, the wise man. You couldn't compare him to the uncle, that the noble warrior. You couldn't compare him to one of the kids that was, striving to be better. You had to compare him to an overly critical buffoon. That's subliminal keys that you're throwing out. You're taking shots. Like, you would not want to be sitting there watching the Shrek movie and then a man say, oh, you remind me of Fiona when she turns into the female Shrek. You'd be mad as bejesus. You feel me? You can't come up there and say, oh, so you think I'm fat? Yeah, that's gonna be the downfall. That's like saying that you look like the donkey from Shrek. Like, you don't want to do stuff like that. That's not appropriate. Your goal is to always positively reinforce your partner. So what are you going to do to make this up? You're afraid that he's going to break up with you for what? So that you can stop getting the resources that you're getting from him. Let's be real. If you cared about his emotions and his feelings, you would never tell him that he's a cynical person. He has a very strong opinion and you don't always agree with that opinion, but you shouldn't call him cynical. That's a little bit harsh. Not even a little bit harsh. That's extremely harsh. That's almost fighting words. You get cynical from clinical diagnostics. You're not a physician. You're not a psychiatrist. You're not supposed to be identifying your boyfriend as cynical. You know, you're not supposed to be identifying your boyfriend using psychological concepts. If you're not identifying him by basic adjectives, then you really have some unresolved hatred towards your boyfriend that you're just not letting out. And passive aggressive things that women do is put you in front of a TV show and then compare you to one of the characters on a TV show where you can get a full observation from a third person perspective of what they think about you, because that's how they're identifying you, as that character there. So whatever you think about that character, that's what she thinks about you. So that's not to do. That's not to do. But I know that if anybody who says that they think their girlfriend looks like that Halle Berry from Catwoman, you understand, women, that's going to be a compliment. No, anyone who knows what Halle Berry looked like in that Catwoman outfit, they're going to be like, yeah, that's what's up. You know, if you compare a woman to Beyonce, yeah, that's what's up. Maybe Nicki Minaj before most of those surgeries. Yeah, that's what's up. But I mean, if you compare a female to Quasimodo, she's going to believe that you think that she's ugly as all but Jesus. So you shouldn't do stuff like that. You gotta think about what you're saying before you say it, because sometimes, even though they're just words, words can hurt and words can leave a lifelong lasting effect. And that damage cannot be undone. It can only be covered up. And then the person that was damaged can only learn how to cope with the damage that's already been done, like dents on a car. And you can't really go back from that. Now, if he doesn't break up with you after this, it doesn't matter how you go about trying to make it up to him. You are going to have to really put a lot of effort into making sure that he feels valued and important, and his opinions are validated and important to you, even if you don't agree with them. So that's all I have for you guys for today. We kind of went through quite a few of them. I want to make sure that you guys like and subscribe and follow the show. Make sure that you guys hang out. Special shout out again, because I saw you pop in: Red Void, Omni81, AJ, Liberty Twitcher, Silly Emma, Mr. Pibbs. Really appreciate you guys riding it out with us on the show. We're going to be like tomorrow. We're going to be talking about those stimulus checks. So that's going to be a topic for us to get into. It's going to be a topic for us to discuss. We have to get the rest of the week lined up, because I've been taking a lot of time to rest and recuperate. So I haven't actually put much effort into stretching out the next week of the show. But we do have the artist right after the show. The song that's going to be playing, a Higher Ground outro. You'll be able to, you can still get those links out of the description down below, but you can also find them in all of the releases that we have for the podcast right now. So there are, you can probably type in this and that at this point and get the YouTube channel that has the whole album on it, or you can get the album from us, or you can download the album by clicking one of the links and go and purchasing it. In addition to that, we are still going to be live 7 days a week. We're still going to be starting off at 10 o'clock Central Time, which is 11 o'clock Eastern Time and 7 o'clock Pacific Time. And we are not going to change times for daylight savings time. For those of you that are in Romania and Brazil, special shout out for you guys. we are not going to be changing times when time zone changes in America. Special shout out to the Philippines and Russia and Singapore. We're not going to be changing our time zones. So we're just going to keep things the way they are as we get settled into our 10 o'clock time. We might be a little bit late every now and again because something happens, but we're planning on sticking to this 10 o'clock hour. And if in the event that we start running into my midnight situations, then I'll probably push back my midnight situations to like 1 o'clock so that we have time to run a 2.5, 3 hour podcast. But while we're running an hour and 15, we're still able to wrap things up long before I have something else that I have to tend to. So I'm going to be operating at this particular time of day. We're going to be giving it our all. We're going to be doing more research and putting up more topics. As I said before, we're going to wrap things up by saying, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. And fellas, I really appreciate you guys coming to the podcast because you guys make us who we are. We really appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.